Hello, guys. It's that time again. What time is that? Cerveza Beer 30. Here's to you, here's to me. Should we ever disagree? Here's to both of us. Skull. Cheers, Prost. As you can see, I'd already been working on that one a little bit. So, relax, chill out, and hopefully I can get this beer. I got it. Hear that sound? That's one of my favorite sounds. But I hope that you are in a position to relax and you have your favorite toddy or whatever you're into to relax. And it's Friday evening, believe it or not, March the 10th, 2023. Temperature here in Fort Clark Springs right now is about 80 degrees, typical spring weather in Texas or this part of Texas. And take a deep breath, guys. Breathe out slowly. Let all that stress go away. For me today, I had what it would be called a stressful day. For me, for anybody else, it wouldn't have meant poo poo. Why? Because I went to a doctor today, a regular general practitioner medical doctor. Why? Because I wanted to be established as a patient, because if you're not a patient of a doctor here in this area, the only option you have is to go to the emergency room, and that may not be good. But I don't know. We'll see. So I did that thing. So what we'll touch on in this video after I have a swallow of this good beer. Here's to you. We'll talk about the medical field and the changes that I've observed in my life, which doesn't mean a hill of beans to anybody else. But again, first of all, all of you, relax, chill out, man. It's Friday night. I'm not going to do anything super. I don't have any lead in music or lead out music. You lose 50% of your audience with your music, but I don't think many people have figured that out yet. But be that as it may. In the 1950s, in Kennedy, Texas, I grew up on a farm, as most of you know, in South Texas between San Antonio and Corpus Christi, Texas, off of Highway 181. We had in that community of probably at that time around 3,000 people. I'm just guessing that because the oil boom would come and go and come and go, and the population would rise and fall accordingly. And but generally around 3,000 permanent population, rural agricultural community. Of course, we were farmers. A few just ranchers, but mainly most people did both. But we did have in our lovely little community three went, which was rarely Dr. Bonstetter, not Bone Shredder, but and then there was Dr. Mills and Dr. Quinlan. That's not right. Dr. Quinn starts like that. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, there were three doctors, and they all did pretty damn good because they all lived in the nicest houses in the nicest part of town, which was not much, but it was still the nice area, as every town has. And they drove the nicest cars. Their kids were the best dressed, had the neatest toys, and all the other stuff. Uh, but how they did that, I don't know. I mean, well, I guess it's the way it is. Doctors make money and other people don't. But I remember Dr. Mills had a 1957 Ford Fairlane 500 hardtop convertible. Can you imagine that? Yeah, and in the trunk area, it had like a wash tub. That was the actual trunk. The top folded all around it. You know what I mean? But I thought that might as well have been a spaceship to me. I mean, good God, I'd never seen anything like it. And then there was another doctor in Corn City, which I can't remember his name of, but he did drive a 1957 Ford Thunderbird, my dream car of all dream cars. 12 years old, and I thought, boy, that's it. If I ever have a car, that's it. Of course, it didn't happen. But anyway, as far as medical care, when you went to the doctor, the differences, well, as I recall, see, Dr. Bonstetter's office was at the back of Sellers Drugstore. Okay, you went actually all the way through the drugstore to the back of the store, and he had a little office back there. As I recall, he did not have a receptionist or a secretary because back then, when the phone rang, you had to answer it. You know what I mean? And But somehow he managed, and I probably saw him in my growing up years maybe two or three times, and that's all. And that was all for school related stuff. Like if you were going to get into athletics, you had to have a physical and all that stuff. And so that was, but I don't remember going to him for anything else. Now I did go to Dr. Mills with a health issue that I picked up in Mexico, and I think it was the common cold. Here's to you, here's to me. I still scratch today. Mm. But enough said about that. Back then, you went into the doctor, as far as I know, they didn't check your blood pressure. I don't think they checked your temperature. They did have that thing around there, the stethoscope thing. If you got a lisp, you can't hardly say that. They put it in their ears and had this little thing, and they check your heartbeat and you breathe in and breathe out, and then sometimes they stick your finger up around that part of your lower part of your body, checking for whatever, and then Dr. Longfinger might check the other end too. But other than that, that was a complete physical. There was no X-rays, no nothing, no scanning, anything that I recall. No, they didn't put the little thing on your finger to check the oxygen level, and I don't remember anything wrapped around my arm to check the blood pressure ever. And as far as the cost, it must have been pretty damn good, because they lived very well, very well. And but today, like today, I went to the doctor, and for the first time in 25 years, I went to a general practitioner, and I thought I was going to get an exam, the what do they call it, the Medicare thing that's free once a year or whenever it is, and so I go in. Of course, you go to the receptionist first, announce give them your name, give them your Medicare card, your driver's license. They verify your appointment and stuff. And then they tell you that, I mean, it's even posted on the wall behind the receptionist. It says the deductible for Medicare at parts A and B for the year 2023 is $226, and, they want that up front. And what I told the girl was, hey, man, I just went to a dermatologist and I've satisfied my deductible. And I thought, well, that's good. I'm down to zero, right? Hardy har har. It's still 40 bucks. Okay? You still got to pay 40 bucks for something. And so I did. And then the stressful part for me, everything's just different. I'm not used to all that waiting, and there's people in there there weren't that many people in the waiting room though, probably 4 or 5, and it was a pretty big waiting area. Of course, they had a TV on, blah blah blah, but it wasn't on a soap opera. It was on some kind of medical channel that was showing, all kind of diseases and stuff that you should be aware of, and I'd never heard of some of them. So anyway, the stressful part was just sitting there. They said, well, I got there at 9 because they wanted me to be there 30 minutes early because of they had to get a list of all my medications and some other information. Well, hell, I don't take any medication, so that blew 50% of the time. And so anyway, I just sat around there, and that raises my stress level just sitting there with nothing to do and wondering if the doctor's going to see me. But I did find this out from another patient. It was a lady, and she said, if you ever get an appointment with a doctor, particularly this one, get the earliest morning appointments you can get. And the reason is, as the day goes forward, he gets behind, because he's only allowing like 8 minutes per patient. But if it's somebody he knows or a friend or whatever, they're going to talk a while and he'll run over, and then that pushes the other one, and then it's the domino thing. You know what I mean? So you get there at 2 o'clock, and he doesn't see you till 4:30. You know, so yeah, but it worked out okay. It did run a little late, and I did a short video while I was waiting first of all, you wait in the waiting room outside with everybody else. Then they bring you in, check your blood pressure, your oxygen level, that little thing they put on your finger, and what else? Your height, weight. Uh, that's it. That nurse, and then you go in this other room where you wait for the doctor to come see you. Which is, can you compare that with 1950? You just walked in and there was Dr. Bonstetter sitting in a chair. You know, and he said, "What's wrong with you?" Anyway, what's wrong with me is, here's to you, here's to me. Mm-hmm. So anyway, on the oxygen level, 100% on that, no problem. Blood pressure, I don't remember the numbers. It was like 135 over 78, which is not bad by any means. And so the exercise and diet kind of pays off. I'll give you some more details on that in the other video I did in a couple of days whenever I post it. But yeah, but and let's say something else. The Everything is done by the computer, and everything is done by averages. In other words, when I said, "How is my blood pressure?" "Oh, you're in the green zone." "Oh, shit, I didn't know that." "And how's the finger thing?" "Oh, green zone." And I said, "Well, is there anything I'm in the red zone on?" And no, she didn't see anything. And of course, that didn't include any blood workup or any of that. I'm gonna have that done in the next week or so, and that'll do that. And again, it's all averages, all averages. Thank you. That was UPS delivering a package. But anyway, uh, what else? I kind of lost my train of thought. One thing I will say about having Amazon delivery here: if you need anything and you can't find it in this small town or these small towns, Amazon, are they going to take over the whole universe? Apparently. And are they going to get into Medicare? I don't know. I mean, medical? I don't know. I know they're trying to get into pharmaceuticals. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But anyway, what else? But comparing today with yesterday, so to speak, the computer, whatever that computer spits out, that's the law. That's the law. In fact, I went over to I had to, after I got through with everything, and they gave me a sheet to take over to the hospital where they do the blood test. I could have gone to somewhere else, but since Medicare pays for it anyway, I don't care. So anyway, I went to the hospital. They got a new hospital 1 year old, and I went in there and finally found the right place. But as I was, I went there, got signed in, same drill, driver's license, Medicare card, all that crap, and I waited a few minutes, and then I thought, hell, I'd like to have a drink of water. So I asked this. I went up to that receptionist. I said, "You have bottled water?" "No, but they sell it right over there." I said, and then about this time, this guy walks up. He's kind of I don't know, like a greeter or something. Anyway, he came up. And he said, "We have a water fountain down this way." And I said, "Well, great." He said, "But can you drink water?" And I said, "Well, watch me." He said, "No, I mean, since you're having these tests done." I said, "Man, I don't care." I said, "I determine when I drink water, not them." You know what I mean? Sheesh, you know. I mean, yeah, I don't know of any blood test, known to man that will be affected by water. Okay, and that may be affected by this water. Here's to you. Here's to me. But anyway, I was like I don't know. I want to say a kid in a candy store, but it was more like Alice in Wonderland. I felt like I went down the rabbit hole. It's just it's hurry up and wait, the old military syndrome, and so and I don't particularly care for all that. In hospitals, I have to tell you this: since this is a new hospital, They've got all new furniture, they got all these fancy paintings around, and they got sitting areas everywhere. Okay, they even have I can't remember what they called it, but it's like a lunchroom that I could have gone to and got something to eat if I wanted to, and I told the prices were pretty reasonable. I didn't do it, but could have. And no, it's amazing. Whenever they build a hospital, I guess it's a county hospital because that's in Uvalde County, and that's the city of Uvalde. So that's got to be the county seat. So it's the county hospital, and taxpayers don't mind buying the best. And they had several of these little rooms that had the rooms faced out into the main aisle, and they had sliding doors, and that's where you go to if you're going to get a blood workup. You go into this room, and this girl takes the doctor's sheet and puts it in the system, and then whoever's going to do the bloodletting uh, comes up. And but they got crossways with me. Not. What happened was the sheet that the doctor gave me had all these requests for certain types of blood work. Okay, and then there up at the top. It said you got that section for what blood workup, and then up in the upper another side, it had diagnosis. Like what diagnosis uh, required this blood workup. You know what I mean? And they didn't match. Like this diagnosis didn't do anything, and so she had to call the doctor, and that's where I lost them because after about 30 minutes of waiting, and they had to call the doctor and had to talk to the doctor. See, that's the problem. You got to talk to the doctor, and so, the doctor is not in any hurry to talk to people like that. So, I waited about 25, 30 minutes, and the girl came back and she said, well, we're waiting on a call back from the doctor. And I said, why don't we do this? I'll just come back another day. And I found out you don't even have to have an appointment to do the blood work stuff. And they're even open on Saturdays. And she said, yeah, you just walk in, come over here, and, we'll do the bloodletting. I did go ahead and schedule a PSA. That's a prostate specific antigen, which is a test that's really, no one's really sure whether it works that well or not, because the range you can be in the totally negative range and not have any prostate issues at all. Why that is, I don't know. About a third of the people that are out of range have never had any prostate issues at all. So I may skip that one. And then also she recommended 4 other tests, and they had the price beside them. The cheapest one was $247, not $2.47, $247. So is this going to relieve your stress? No. I don't know if it is or not. I'm just talking because it's relieving my stress, and maybe that'll help you. Here's to you, here's to me. So basically, what we've gotten into now, and I'm not going to say it's good or bad. I have no opinion on it, but somehow the software in the computers has gotten so good, or the learning algorithms or whatever, that they or whatever that software is dictates whether you're in the guideline or out high or low. And if you are, then that's where the doctor comes in and says, oh, we can tweak that by adding this drug, and we can tweak the other by adding this drug. You see what I mean? And that's where the pharmaceuticals got you coming and going. If you're not in that little narrow band of normal for anything, whether it's blood pressure, cholesterol, oxygen level, whatever, anything else they can come up with, then there's a drug that'll fix that. However, that drug has side effects. So you got to take another drug. Understand? You see where you go down the rabbit hole there? Whoop, there we go, guys. But it is Friday night, and I feel pretty damn good here being at home. When I got back right at lunchtime, I had a snack coming back, so I just skipped lunch and took a walk because I'm a little overweight. My weight was 189. I may have mentioned that. I need to be down to about 180. I'd rather be down to 175, but I did that one time. And a friend of mine who is a doctor, well, then he was back way when, he said, you don't want to get too skinny because then if you get sick, your body won't have anything to draw on. That kind of got in my head. Is that true? No. It's not true. Here's something else you need to remember. If you go into a doctor's office, into the first waiting area, and it's a cold day, and it's cold in the waiting room. Okay, then you go from there to where they check your blood pressure. You can rest assured that your blood pressure is going to register higher. Why? Because when it's cold, your capillaries and arteries and stuff constrict slightly, shooting your blood pressure up. Being in a stressful area, being in the doctor's office, boom, pressure up. Anything just anything can stress you out so your blood pressure goes up. So I wonder about now. There are people that probably have some legitimate high blood pressure issues, but I'm not sure how accurate that is. Hey Google, is your blood pressure higher on cold days?
On the website mayoclinic.org, they say that's because low temperatures cause blood vessels to temporarily narrow. This increases blood pressure because more pressure is needed to force blood through narrowed veins and arteries. Blood pressure can also be affected by a sudden change in weather patterns, such as a weather front or a storm.
They don't tell you that in the doctor's office, okay? But what I'm going to do, just so you know, maybe don't care, when I get my blood workups done, I've already told them that you can't do the blood work unless you give me a copy. I want to see exactly what the doctor sees. They said, well, yeah, you can get that. You just go to medical records here at the hospital and you can request a copy of your medical record. Well, hallelujah. So what I'm going to do next week or whenever I get ready, I'll go in, have the blood work done, and then I will get a copy that shows me where I am based on some standards or norms or whatever. And then I will get on the internet and use the algorithms, the learning algorithms, like Chat GBT, and I'll say, is 180 I don't know what normal cholesterol is. I don't even remember, but 150 or whatever, is that a good level for a 77-year-old male? And then that'll give me something to start with. Then I'll go on my own and check other websites, and I will learn how to read all of that stuff. Okay. So anyway, hold on a minute. I got to tell my son I'll call him back. Hey, dude, let me call you right back. Adios. Anyway, but yeah, I'm going to learn how to read all that stuff. Why? Because if you learn how to read that, you eliminate one appointment. You got me? Because what they do, the game is, the blood work people send that information to the doctor, and then to get it, you have to make another appointment. Then when you go into the doctor, of course, he's doing his job. I'm not being negative here on doctors, but just looks at the guideline. Okay, your cholesterol is high. It's up here. We you can do here's your options. We got pill A, pill B, pill C. And then your blood pressure. All the deal. You know what I mean? Are your triglycerides or your monoglycerides or your optic glycerides or whatever high or low? And then they give you a pharmaceutical for it. Whereas if you figure it out yourself, like I'm going to do, and I'll let you know exactly how I will deal with it. Home cures. Okay. Anyway, guys, this is it. Friday night. Here's to you. Here's to me. Sanity session. Does that help you with your sanity? It should. It should give you some guidance because, if we're so totally insane that we have to surrender our thinking to the computer totally, we're not that insane yet, are we, guys? Not quite. Here's to you. Here's to me. So, chill out. Take a deep breath. It's Friday night. Relax. You ain't got a damn thing to do this weekend but get groceries and whatever your honeydews are. Enjoy your life. Thumbs up. Carpe diem. Adios. Bye-bye. Buy anything you want anytime, but if you think about it, use the Amazon link in the description of all of my videos. Why? Because it doesn't cost you one penny. Click on the link, go to Amazon, buy whatever the hell you want, or don't fool with it at all. It ain't going to hurt my feelings, okay? Anyway, enjoy your evening. Stand guard at the door of your mind, and Yeah, just chill out, man. I catch myself sometimes taking life a little too seriously, but I'll take a walk, get back in focus, back in the hunt. Adios, amigos. Bye bye.